As a working parent to a spirited child, I struggled connecting with my son. Over time, I became an absent parent who only yelled at him for doing something wrong. I wasn't even sure I liked being a parent anymore. I felt unequipped, alone, and defeated. I found these statements in a letter from a parent we serve. Please raise your hands if Allie's story resonates with you. Put them up if you ever struggled as a parent. If it was all unicorns and rainbows, please keep them down. Otherwise, if it felt more like playing darts with spaghetti, please put them up, y'all. There you go. Right? Parenting is hard, right? It is messy. It is physically, emotionally, and spiritually exhausting. Good evening, everyone. My name is Allan Stockelberg. I am the Executive Director of Parent Aid Child Abuse Prevention Center, and we are building brighter futures for all our children. For over 29 years, Parent Aid has worked in preventing child abuse. Last year, we provided in-home support and education to 125 families and served 650 parents and caregivers in group classes. These opportunities are open to families in Pima County because we believe that by supporting all families, not just those at risk, we begin to solve the very real and all too common tragedy of child abuse. We serve all families because child maltreatment knows no color, no salary, language, gender, or class. As we witnessed here today, every family, every parent struggles. We do not prescribe a perfect parenting model, but rather foster a culture in which all parents feel comfortable sharing with, supporting, and learning from each other. You see, I know my parenting affects you and your families, and I know that your parenting choices affect me. For better or worse, all of our paths are connected. When you invest $30,000 in Parent Aid, you provide weekly in-home support and education for 20 families. Your gift of $5,000 will provide curriculum and training needed for Parent Aid to begin services with fathers and families with teenagers. For just $100, you can sponsor a parent education class right here in your community. Every dollar invested in our home visitation program will be returned to our community 15-fold in decreased costs to the criminal justice, healthcare, and educational systems. Remember Allie from earlier? Her story continues. Because of the education and support from Parent Aid, I have grown as a parent. By meeting other families, I have gained valuable new perspectives and appreciate my son for who he is. It's close.
I swear you did some ad-libbing up there, didn't you? Like the darts with spaghetti?
That's actually on the card.
Okay.
That is on the
well,
card.
It felt
right?
like ad-libbing.
That feels like parenting, right?
Right. And I thought it was so comfortable and natural, and I was like giggling, like, yeah, totally. The impact stats were good. You went from serious to humorous in a very natural flow. It didn't seem try hard at all. Gosh, I hang out with my kids too much. But in great hand gesturing, when you were like at-risk kids, and my parenting affects you, your parenting affects me. I think that's all great. A little bit too much pacing.
Yep, and that's a bad habit.
But you know what? There's so much good there that I barely noticed it. And I like how you did the highest ask first, shaking it up and going down. I just thought that was cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good job, Allan. It was nice. I had just a couple of thoughts, other than all the really good stuff, which I'm sorry I'm not going to talk about. It was just great. But I feel like actually I wanted to hear a little bit whether you had some program impact in terms of the changes in behavior or attitudes of family members, just because that I didn't really hear that piece. You said the 15-fold reduction in costs, so it's like how it impacted the community, but I wanted to hear something about how the individuals reported being changed. And then the $30,000 in weekly home support for 20 families. That's a lot. The math there is a little bit challenging. So I don't know what you do about. I mean, I understand that it's
and
a
so what
high
that
intervention.
is it costs $1,500 to support one family for an entire year.
Say that.
Ooh, I like that a lot. And I might even make that one of your levels instead, because that sounds really reasonable, right?
Okay.
For some reason, $30,000 for 20 families. I tried to do the math in my head, and it was too hard. So yeah, all right.
Yeah, if that number 20 is significant, then I think that's the tie, but otherwise it's just algebra.
It's significant only in that it's a multiple of 1,500.
Yeah, okay, then I would use the 1,500 and figure out a different big ask if you want to incorporate a big ask. But I think that I think that 1,500 number is really good and just kind of stands on its own. So I would consider that too. You're good at this. You know that because you ham it up a little bit. And I've been thinking this whole time, that statement, my parenting affects you and your parenting affects me, that's really a strong statement. And I think that theme needs to be just kind of punched in a few more times. When you're asking people you're saying we're all in this together. And when you're asking people to raise their hand, I would remind them that that's what you're showing them. Everyone's hands up, we're all in this together. The only other thing is, and I'm really hesitant to say this because it was good, and I don't want to blow it up, but when you let us know that was a letter that you were talking about in the first person, I felt a tiny bit betrayed by it because I thought you were sharing your own personal experience. And if there's a way, I would rather you don't change it at all than change it a lot, but if there's a way you can very subtly ease us into the idea that you are a proxy in that situation, it's still very valuable, but it's a little less vulnerable. And I think we need to be, at least I needed to be given the permission to just kind of feel that before it was changed on me. But if Christy or somebody else, yeah.
Like you're reading it.
Yeah. But that was just one other thing. And again, I'd rather you not change it at all than change it a lot, but it's something that just, we got to fill 5 minutes of feedback, and that's what I've got for you. Great job.
Thank you.